Don't be discouraged. It's often the last key in the bunch that opens the lock. John Wooden. My friends, stick with this. You can do it. We see everything up for the day but bonds. Let's jump first into SPY. I almost said STC. The STC is still green on SPY when it comes to the half-day chart, 2.5 days of up movement. 2-day chart has turned green on the STC. Green up candle there, still below on both the half-day and the 2-day, still below the 200 EMA. We look on the weekly, it's still negative, so our success multiplier formula is minus 10 at this time. But we do see that, of course, on the weekly chart, we touched back on the 13th of June. We touched the 200 EMA, but we are above it. But of course, we're looking for trades to come off of the shorter chart. That's where everything always starts. But we keep all the charts in mind all the time. So still looking for a short trade or just holding on until we penetrate the 200 EMA on that half-day chart and we go long. Either way, I'm happy to do it. Not going to act until the move is there. Let's go to the Nasdaq 100. What do we see there? Of course, it crossed over into the green, going up after a red move down, did not sustain it, pulled out of that bad boy actually when it reversed on us. Jumped out of that. We did take a bit of a loss there. That's okay. We've had big wins in the past. Again, the Nasdaq 100 has been really good to us. I did that rundown on it through the middle of June, up 11.15% in our total trades for the year. About half worked, half didn't work, and that's okay because we have a 2-to-1 success formula. That's a 2-to-1 profit to loss ratio. Works out really well for us. In fact, all you have to win is 4 out of 6 to, again, be in the green. Now, let's talk about where we are on the Nasdaq 100. It is, again, moving up, but of course, still under that 200 EMA. We look at the 2-day chart. Of course, it has gone to green on this latest candle, but the weekly, still red. It's touched several times the 200 EMA on the weekly chart. Got a red spinning top with a doji pretty much last week. So indecision there. Maybe things are going to bounce around and head up. We don't know. We're just watching, waiting and seeing. If we do see things fly through that 200 EMA on the half-day chart, we'll be looking to go long, but not yet. What about bonds? Now, bonds, we like to think of bonds moving in the opposite direction of stocks. Stocks are going up, bonds are going down. Why? Because bonds can be a safe haven when stocks are having trouble and, of course, don't want to necessarily be in bonds when stocks are going up. So it reverses. Well, what we see here is as stocks are going up some over the last few days, bonds consequently are going down over the last 2 days. And of course, we had a trigger pull at the end of the day on Thursday, so we went ahead and entered that trade because it met our criteria below the 200 EMA. We went from red to green on the STC, and we pulled that trigger with a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, hoping to make 3.17%, risking 1.79. That is where we are. We'll see how that goes. Did have a nice drop off there on the STC, so we shall track it, watch it, pay attention to it. We look at where things are on the 2-day with a little trepidation. Of course, it's heading up. Now, it has petered out a little bit, went from, increasing up candles to a green spinning top. Where are we on the weekly? Weekly is still negative, but 2 weeks of up movement. So again, we'll be careful on this one and pay attention to which way it goes. We don't want to fight the bigger trend, so we'll watch that. Now, let's move on from bonds, go to gold. Gold up just barely, 0.06% for the day. We had a nice negative trade in gold. We captured that first 1.72% with a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Based on what? Based on the average true range. That is what our risk is, and we double that for our reward. And it rewarded us quite handily, and over a few days, 1.72%. Of course, it jacked down even further. We took our profit, and we're happy with it. Where is gold now? Looks like it could have possibly reached a bottom. Like we said, it was up a little bit for the day. You can see it didn't hit the lows of yesterday. Of course, we're using Heiken Ashi candlesticks. We look at where things are in gold on the 2-day. It is still negative on the STC, and of course penetrated quite quickly and hammering down on that 200 EMA. Where are we on the weekly? Well, we're still quite a ways above the 200 EMA on the weekly, but we can see this week big red down candle. So gold pulling up a little bit on Thursday. And when I say a little bit, I mean just a little bit with all the downward movement. 0.06% isn't much. So we'll continue to keep our eye on gold. Hopefully it'll reverse over, move up some, and give us another chance to short it. Of course, I'm always happy to go long gold, but we got to get above that 200 EMA. Lastly, take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin swinging back a little bit, up 7.89% on XBTF. This is the Bitcoin Future ETF. You can get this on any exchange. It's not like having to buy Bitcoin on a spot market on one of the Bitcoin exchanges, some of whom have been having some real problems. This short-end future is what I prefer. Now, again, you can practice trade whatever you want. Where are we on Bitcoin? We're still way down. Now, we have a ways to go before you're going to see any crossover on this half-day chart, but it is nice to see some green candles after all the red bleeding even here of late. So nice to see it up some for the day. Where are we on the 2-day? First green candle in many days. Nice to see that forming, but of course it's still negative. And on the weekly, of course, we're still negative there, but a smaller red down candle. Have we found a bottom? I don't know. That'd be nice. We thought that before a few times. We thought it around the 27.86 mark. So again, we don't know, but we'll keep watching, waiting, and hoping. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day. Patreon members, of course, I will be sending out to you the 20 weekly vertical crossovers. Is what we attempt to do for you every single week. If you're not a Patreon supporter, support the channel. 3 levels of support that are available to you. We opened up some spaces recently in that lowest level, the $30 a month level. You appreciate what we do and want all the great benefits we give to Patreon members, including what's coming up next week, the live question and answer call-in session. You have stocks, ETFs you want us to help you backtrack for practice trading, send them on in. Okay, folks, thanks so much. God bless you. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.